Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about One Piece chapter 1035. I don't have time to react to it, but I've already read it and I liked it a lot. So first of all, we kind of get some fallout from Sanji's fight, which was great last week. I did not do it, or the week before, whatever. I wasn't feeling well, so I didn't review it. But it was a good fight. The one thing I will say about all these fights with Zoro and Sanji are that they've been kind of broken up in a weird way that it's kind of like it feels like it's coming to a stop immediately, right? So that's my only thing about that. But Sanji has kind of reconciled with himself. He saved that little mouse that the girl was with or whatever. And we get a little nice little flashback of like, oh, people were making fun of him for making food for a rat. But it's like, oh, he's still got it's basically saying he's still got his softer side, right? He has not fully transformed into a heartless robot. So that's really cool. I like that. I like that the Oda's leaving his little story there at he's still himself. So Sanji is declared the winner, and then we move back to Zoro and King. And this fight is really weird because it's like I feel like a lot of the fights, especially with like the higher ranking members of Kaido's crew, have been kind of dirty and like a lot of just like really rough fighting. So a lot of this fight is just like Zoro and King just going to town on each other and just that makes it sound worse than it is. But it's like basically them just slashing at each other, throwing each other into buildings, and it's a lot of action. The big things from this chapter, I would argue, are King's real face. As soon as his mask gets ripped off of him, there are some like beast pirate people like showing up and be like, oh, black wings, white hair, and brown skin. And then apparently the world government has said anyone with even just a tip off on it, just like, oh, have you heard about this kind of thing? Somebody like this, they're offering, what was it, 100 million berries? And that's a lot just for like a tip. So they're like thinking about it and they're like, well, could we? And then immediately King burns them all to death. And we see this horrifying shot of just like he unleashes his like imperial flaming wings, which is just a dragon. I never noticed that before. It just looks like Kaido in his dragon form. But he unleashes his attack on them. And then we get this horrifying panel of them just burning to death, and it's pretty messed up. And Zoro kind of like berates him and being like, well, the building's already on fire. Did you really need to do that? And he's just like, I don't care. King is just like, I don't care. He's got this tattoo on his face. I don't know if it has any significance outside of the fact that he is Lunarian, which we still don't know a whole lot about. But it's kind of like it almost looks like something that like Shandorians would wear. So that's interesting, and they have wings, so maybe they're related to the Lunarians. Another interesting thing about King is that Zoro figures out that once his flames on his back go away, for even just temporarily, his defense drops, but his speed significantly increases. So it's weird. Like, I wonder what the mechanics of that ability would be. Like, why would the flames slow him down? I could see why they would like boost his defense because it's like it's fire, but I wonder what the mechanics of that are. We may never know. But that's just something interesting that Zoro noticed while he was fighting, and especially since he can use Kinemon's like flame, like whatever, the thing to get rid of flames, to cut through flames. One of the biggest things is we get to see King's backstory a little bit. He was a prisoner at I don't know if they said exactly where, but he was a prisoner of the world government, and they were basically just experimenting on him until Kaido showed up and broke out of prison, and he was just like, yo, you seem cool. You want to come along while I break out? I'm going to change the world and start my own new pirate crew. And King, whose name is Albert, apparently, is just like, yeah, I'll come. I'll do it if you'll change the world that we live in. And Kaido's just like, I'm the only one who can change the world, which Get out of here, Kaido. You're so full of yourself. But yeah, it was super cool to see like a young Kaido and I guess King. We have never seen his face before this chapter other than like his eye, I guess. So it's cool to see him younger and whatnot, but that also basically means that this is it for him. Because usually Oda does backstory stuff for characters that he's either gonna kill or just like take out of the story entirely. Or at least for the time being, anyways. The big money shot, I would argue, is the very end where. So I mentioned King's attack is called Imperial Flames Wings, Imperial Flaming Wings, but the attack looks like a dragon. I don't know where the wings part come from. Maybe it's because he's sending them out from his wings. But he uses a extra large Imperial Wing Flames or Imperial Flaming Wings, and it obviously looks like a giant dragon. It looks like Kaido, and Zoro cuts right through it and then defeats him. And that's basically the end of the chapter. And actually, I think Zoro uses a move that he's never used before. It's King of Hell, 3-Sword Serpent, 103 Mercies, Dragon Domination, or Damnation. Sorry, Damnation. And something that I think is interesting about this whole end part is a lot of people assumed that Zoro would kill. Well, Zoro would take out Kaido in some way. I mean, obviously we had a really good fight with Zoro and Kaido up on the roof along with the other supernovas. But a lot of people assume that Zoro would maybe be involved with his death or his ultimate defeat. I think this is maybe kind of not teasing, but like, I think this is kind of being like, listen, Zoro's not going to be involved in Kaido's defeat ultimately, but here is him defeating a dragon just like Ryuma. It's a little bit different, but it's maybe more symbolic than it is him literally defeating a dragon, especially since oh, you know what? I never even noticed. I'm looking at this panel. Zoro cut one of his wings. Zoro cut right through King's wing. Oh, that's I have a feeling that the wing is part of his actual body, so that's not good. But yeah, so he defeated King. Ultimately, we'll probably get the fallout in the next chapter, similar to the way that we got the fallout of Sanji's fight in this chapter. But yeah, I think the whole Zoro killing a dragon is more symbolic in this sense. Obviously, he had his fight with Kaido in some way, and he activated his Conqueror's Haki, I think, for the first time. But this is a nice symbolic way of showing, hey, he's defeating a dragon just like Ryuma did back in the day. But yeah, that's basically most of what happens in this chapter. Oh, Zoro also uses a thing called bird dance, which case it looks like he's almost doing like a breakdancing move to get away from, well, to slash King, but like to kind of like break up what's going on there, because King at that point is like knocking him down to the ground. But yeah, this is not a bad fight. I think it's one of those things where this is just like one of those. This is a good fight between two characters who are just beating the crap out of each other. And honestly, I think the anime will probably do this fight a lot of really good justice. Same with Sanji's fight. I think it's just one of those things where it's just like it's a lot of action shots of them slashing at each other, and since they're both sword characters, it's just a lot of that. I do like the idea that Zoro basically tells King, you guys have been around for a while, it's time for you to go, because King is basically we basically King's sob story of like, oh, Kaido's going to be the king of the pirates. Like that's he was saved by Kaido, and now he's behind Kaido 100%, and he wants to see Kaido become king of the pirates. I mean, it's not like it's like crying or anything, but like that's basically, it's like anytime they have a character who is following another captain who says they want to become king of the pirates, it's usually, oh, here's them being rescued in some way, or them being like saved, whether it be spiritually or physically or whatever. And I like the idea that Zoro's just like, it's time for you guys to go. You've been around for a while. It's time. It's time for new blood. So I like that a lot. So that's it for Zoro's fight. I think that we see the like fallout. Maybe he like, I don't know. We'll get a title card saying Zoro wins at the next chapter. But I think other than the giant massive like fire thing that Orochi started, well, I guess Kanjuro started. I don't know. Other than that going on, which is basically just fire going through the castle, I think the only actual fight is I think it's Kaido versus Luffy. Yeah, CP0 is chasing down Robin, but like that's kind of more of just like a chaos is going on kind of thing. That's not one of the main fights at this point. So I think all we have is Zoro is Luffy versus Kaido. Interesting. We are very quickly coming to an end of Wano? I don't know. Let me know what you guys thought about this chapter down below. Zoro is kind of a badass, and I liked seeing King's backstory, although it's kind of telling that he was going to be defeated in this chapter because most people that have backstories shown are defeated or taken out in some way, or at least heavily implied to be. I like that we got to see King's face, and that there's more than just, oh, he's got wings, and that makes him a Lunarian. Flames, but also that they apparently all looked, they all had white hair and darker skin, and what was the other thing? I forget. It was something along the lines of, oh, I guess it was just the black wings, right? Either way, this was an entertaining chapter. I liked it a lot. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section about this. Did you like, I'm going to kind of expand this into Sanji's fight. Did you like both Sanji and Zoro's fights with King and Queen? What do you think about their battles being broken up so much as they are? Do you think that kind of hindered anything of their fights and kind of made it like these two chapters we basically just saw the climax of their fights. They like more of the end and a little bit of the resolution, right? So it kind of feels like it's just coming and going, even though it's been going on for a while at this point. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Did I miss anything? Let me know, because I miss stuff all the time. I feel like I go through and then I kind of just give my thoughts off the top of my head, and I don't even go back to look because I'm lame like that. But let me know down below in the comment section. Leave a like if you enjoyed anything I had to say, and I will see you guys in another video, hopefully soon. See you later.